ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Monday, April 13th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line this hour brought to you by Clark's Pump and Shop, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We'll get those texts going just a few minutes. We've got the spring game to talk about. Happened on Saturday. The Thundering Herd getting the win over the Thundering Herd. No, that's not exactly how the press release read. The White got the win over the Green 28-20 in the spring game. It was kind of fun. I don't know if you were actually familiar with the scoring. You were just catching on as public address announcer Bill Cornwell was telling everyone how it went down. The offense scored as normal. Field goal is a field goal. A touchdown's a touchdown. A point after is a point after, right? 2-point conversion is a 2-point conversion. Nothing changed there. The defense got 3 points for a stop on defense. So guess what? Miss a field goal. Hey, that's 3 points right there for the defense. 5 points for a takeaway on defense and 11 points for a takeaway and score. So we were looking to see if someone can actually come up with a pick six or a fumble for score. It was not to be, but the game, of course, got, I thought, really interesting toward the end. We almost had a situation where we could have had a must-win situation where you hit the field goal and you win, you miss the field goal and you lose. One of those where, you know, if you don't score on this, you're going to give 3 points to the other team. And I thought that made it a little bit more competitive. So it was fun overall if you had a chance to go. If you didn't, you missed a good time. It was entertaining at halftime. Of course, you got to see the alumni. You had the fan day, sort of like a fan day at, after the halftime. You had a chance to honor the Marshall women's NIT champions, Julie Folks and her squad, on hand, and then everyone rushed over to baseball to see the Thundering Herd in action. So it was a good time overall. We're going to hear from Tony Gibson in a few minutes. We've got comments from Xavion Turner-Bradshaw. Bradshaw had a good game in that performance. You look at what he was able to do, and of course, you know, he's got a little heritage to him, so I expect good things out of him. He caught 4 passes, had 77 yards, and he was somebody that, honestly, I thought set up a lot of good things for the Herd. He had like a 37-yarder, an 8-yarder, those kind of set up some offensive situations that put the Herd, at least the offense, in a good situation. And so we'll get his comments here in a few minutes as well. But I want to get your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. And, hey, look, folks, I'm just going to be upfront and candid with you. The voice isn't all there today. It's week 2 of this. The voice isn't all there. So please bear with me. We're also going to hear full comments from Coach Gibson. I'm not going to edit anything, so we'll get his entire presser. And we'll also hear in its entirety all the comments that Bradshaw had to say. And by the way, there were some other good things that happened over the weekend as well. I mean, let's not leave anyone out. Of course, softball got a sweep, got the 15-7 victory over Coastal Carolina yesterday in Conway, South Carolina. So the Herd gets a sweep. And then Marshall beats Old Dominion yesterday 7-5, so the Herd wins that series 2-1. So things are starting to go in the Herd's way. Also, tennis got a win over Dayton 5-2. Don't want to leave anyone out there. And we also have some basketball news to talk about. So over the weekend, we found out that the Mountain East Conference Defensive Player of the Year, Bobakar Jigo, committing to Marshall University. He is a 6'8" forward from Cleveland, Ohio. He played at Concord. And for Concord, he averaged last season, this is why he was Defensive Player of the Year in the Mountain East, 16.2 points per game, led the league in rebounding with 13 a game, also led the league in blocks at 2.3. So he's really more a power forward interesting pickup for the Thundering Herd. So the roster rebuild begins. How do you feel about this addition? So, you're staying a little closer to home, of course, Division II. A lot of good talent that didn't necessarily get a proper look the first time around, ending up at Division II schools. Mountain East is a very competitive league. So I think it's a nice move for the Thundering Herd. We'll get your reaction to that as well. And again, you'll take it. 6'8", yeah, I'll take that size any day. 6'8" with almost 17 points a contest. I mean, okay, I'm fibbing a little bit. 16.2. Still, I'll round up. 17. Let's just say the potential's there. 17 a contest. And you got someone who's a rebounder. He can score. He can rebound. He can block. I'm all right with that. I'll take that. Get him working with the system. Get him in the weight room a little bit more, right? Do what you need to do. Get him up to, I guess, Division I standards. I think you'll be all right with him. And I'm hoping we'll see more. He's listed at 237 pounds. So get some more muscle in him. Maybe he could be a presence and a force for the Thundering Herd. So I like at least we're getting started here. And again, I've had a lot of people transfer in and out over the years. And on the men's side, we're seeing it more and more. On the women's side, however, I think this one hurts a little bit more for me because we also found out that Tamaya Lewis-Utsi, is leaving Marshall. Here's what she said in her statement on X. Over the past year here at Marshall, I've grown in ways I didn't expect. This place has given me more than just basketball. It's giving me relationships, lessons, and memories I carry with me for the rest of my life. I'm grateful for my coaches who believed in me and pushed me to be better every day. To my teammates, thank you for the bond we built and everything we went through together. And to my family, thank you for always being there and supporting me no matter what. With that being said, there's always a with that being said. I decided to enter the transfer portal as a graduate transfer with 1 year of eligibility remaining. I trust where I'm headed, and I'm thankful for everything that's brought me to this point. This journey has shaped me, and I'm ready for what's next. That is from Tamaya Lewis-Utsi. That is TT's statement to Marshall fans, and that one hurts a little bit. I get it. I absolutely get it. You've shown yourself to be quite capable, and you're looking to finish out somewhere that you can get a little bit more visibility. I don't know what her particular situation is, but could be a little bit more NIL money, a little bit more of an opportunity to get ready for the next level, aspirations there, whatever her personal journey is going to be. Of course, very thankful and grateful for her time at Marshall University, but that's the transfer portal for you. It gives and it takes, and it gave with Boubacar Jigo, and it took away on the women's side with Tamaya Lewis-Utsi. I'd be grateful, though, that she stuck around that WNIT game, especially in the end, where she was just a presence. So you got to start figuring out how you rebuild the roster. You want to continue the momentum. You want a postseason tournament. You got to experience winning a championship. You get to hoist a trophy, and you got to end the season on a win. Not everyone gets to do that, so you'll definitely take those experiences every single day. But on the flip side, now that's where the transfer portal kind of comes in and goes, all right, you've shown you're good elsewhere. Now you got a chance to maybe take that on the road and go somewhere even bigger, right? So, hate the transfer portal. It definitely, year to year, kills anything you've done. Even though coaches get extensions, including Julie Folks, coaches are pretty much on a year-to-year basis with these teams now. I mean, the good thing about Marshall football is, and we'll hear that from Coach Gibson in just a few minutes, is these guys aren't going anywhere. You at least got them for a year. After the spring game, nobody's dashing to get out. And he addressed a couple of things I had to ask him about that. So we'll hear his comments when we continue And, of course, we're going to hear from you. And that's 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Comments from head coach Tony Gibson when we continue on this edition of Your Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Grab the mic and bring the fun to the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Introducing Mike Night at the Marshall Cafe, our brand new karaoke night. It's the first Saturday of every month from 9 to 11. Whether you're a total superstar or a shower singer who just loves to have fun, this night is for you. Sing loud, laugh hard, and make a night of it at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe. Mike Night, where everyone's a headliner, at the Marshall Hall of Fame Cafe on the corner of Fun and 3rd Avenue across from Pullman Square.
At Poca Valley Bank, a handshake can still mean the start of a great relationship. We've been greeting customers with a handshake since 1908. Why settle for less? If you're purchasing your first home or planning for your future, Poca Valley Bank is here to support you with personalized service and local expertise. They are your trusted advisors. Why settle for less when you can experience banking with a team that truly cares? Poca Valley Bank, where relationships matter. Visit PocaValleyBank.com. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Our Kindred Communications family of stations reminds you of the need for blood donations to the Red Cross. Blood is always needed. It may save your life or the life of a loved one. This reminder is brought to you in part by
Baum Lumber, your place for quality roof trusses, building materials, hot spring spas, lawn equipment, and more. See baumlumber.com. Jerk Riley's with 2 great locations, Greenup Avenue in Ashland and Pullman Square in Huntington. Eat, drink, play games, and be merry. It's always a party at Jerk's.
Hey, did you hear about that multi-billion-dollar Roundup settlement?
Yeah, it impacts people who are exposed to weed killers at work or at home, even if you just used it in your own yard. Lawsuits claim it causes non-Hodgkin lymphoma, a blood cancer.
But we're not sick, so that doesn't affect us.
But it does. This cancer can take 10 to 15 years to show up.
That's a long time after exposure.
It is, and that's why the settlement is paying claims for up to 21 years. If you get sick, even years from now, you could get $6,000 to $165,000 or more as part of this settlement.
So what's the catch?
If you stay in, you give up the right to sue them later.
Learn more at weedkillerclass.com or call 1-888-403-8201. If you or a loved one has or had non-Hodgkin lymphoma, even if they've passed, you must register for benefits. That's weedkillerclass.com. 1-888-403-8201. Paid for by the Roundup Settlement.
No matter where you are in life, Mount West Community and Technical College isn't just about an education. It's a step toward your future. We provide the hands-on support you need with classes that fit your life. At Mount West, we know you by name because here, you're more than just a number. Mount West Community and Technical College, because you matter here. Visit mctc.edu to apply today.
It's the 23rd Annual Empty Bowls event happening Friday, May 1st from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Pullman Square in downtown Huntington. Marshall University Art and Design students showcase their talents and support Facing Hunger Food Bank. With nearly 1,000 unique handcrafted bowls on display, choose one or start a collection. Every bowl is just $20. It's all for a great cause. Proceeds benefit Huntington's Facing Hunger Food Bank. That's Empty Bowls, May 1st, 10 to 3. Don't miss it. Together we are Facing Hunger.
So you see, son, good manners are very, very important. Someday, many years from now, when you're a grown-up, you'll be a man. And when you are, you should be a gentleman. Do you want me to go through it one more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, please.
Exactly. Always say please, thank you, you're welcome, and excuse me. Sit up straight, hold doors open for ladies. If a door's shut, then knock first. Don't burp, don't swear, don't speak with your mouth full, don't reach across people's plates, keep your elbows off the table.
What table?
And don't interrupt. While we're at it, don't stare, don't use foul language, don't call people names, but do remember people's names. Always share your toys, play nice, and cover your mouth when you cough or sneeze. On the bus, give up your seat to anyone who has trouble standing. Bottom line, treat others the way you'd like to be treated. Got it?
Got it.
And stop picking your nose.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ag Council.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Follow at Paul Swann on X for Marshall sports updates and more.
We continue on with this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Our text line, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. We're going to hear later on from Xavion Turner-Bradshaw. He had a lot of fun on Saturday. He was all smiles when he came in and talked to us for a few minutes. But for those of you that maybe didn't get the chance to go to the game on Saturday, don't follow me on social. I've got full comments from head coach Tony Gibson, coach addressing the media on hand to talk about what was for him a successful spring game. And let's get his thoughts on what he saw and what happened on Saturday.
Yep. First off, I'd like to thank the fans. Great turnout. Great support from our alumni. We had a big function last night. There's over 120 former players here. So that's what it's all about. Spring games, getting the fans back involved, giving them a little taste of football again, and then being able to honor our women's basketball team for their championship last week was a great touch. And but on to the game, I thought some guys really stood out. I thought Zay Bradshaw had a really nice game. Carlos was smooth. First two drives scored. Got him out, got some of the other guys more reps. I thought Khalil came in, and everybody knows his best weapons are his feet right now. So he's playing extremely high level. I thought our backs played well. TJ Lester, Judah. Thought our O-line. And then there were some guys on defense. I think our secondary is so much improved right now that I'm really excited about that group. And we still got a lot of work to do. That was my call. I'm not playing. So, some of the guys that everybody knows didn't want to take any chances of getting him hurt. There is no more portal window coming, so I'm not going to take any chances on that. And, we came out of the game healthy, got to get some guys back, had some off-season surgeries, and then look forward to a great summer. So.
Fluid might be a good way to describe everybody. I mean, that and probably fluid. I mean, everything just seemed to roll the way you wanted.
Year 2 is a hell of a lot better than year 1. I promise you that. It was just everything that we do. Meetings, the way our kids act, the way they do things. It's so much better right now. We have a great grasp of who we got, what we have. And I just feel really, really comfortable with this staff, this team. Like this team a lot. And there's some major pieces that came back that made it happen. So.
I mentioned the portal, now you don't have to worry about that. You feel like you can build more now since you don't have to concern yourself with that again?
Yeah, no doubt. Instead of this week coming up here that's about to happen, last year it was recruiting the roster again. This year it's going to be telling them, hey, I told the parents, I had a parent meeting this morning before the spring game kick, everything took place this morning, and had them in this room and said, listen, we're going to tell your sons the truth. Maybe not what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And, and I told them I'm not worried about the portal anymore. They can't go anywhere. So, now it's time for us to build on what they had and what they need to do better moving forward to get them better and get our football team better. So the focus is off re-recruiting guys is now, hey, let's get better.
Not to say that guys are not as responsive, but you feel like they're responsive knowing that, okay, I don't have an easy out. I got to put the work in now.
Yeah, it goes back to the way college football should be, in my opinion. And, you go to a place, you commit there, you're getting scholarship. Some guys are getting paid money, and, let's build our football team now. I don't want to go 5-7 again. That's not why I took this job. I want to win a championship, and that's our number one goal. And obviously we have a lot of work to do to get there. But when you can keep 105 guys together now for longer than 3 or 4 months, it helps.
To your point, I mean, you brought back some key pieces, excellent recruiting class. But how much did that inspire you up to know that you were really close last year? You might be even better.
Yeah, and that's the goal. I mean, we obviously, and I don't want people to make excuses and say, well, man, coach, you were so close, 3 or 4 plays and you'd had 8 or 9 wins. Well, it didn't happen, but what we have to do is build off of the good things that we had. And I think a piece of that are guys returning. guys that understand what we want, the culture of this program, how we want it. And, you know, and then you add some veteran coaches on the defensive side that I think is really going to help our football team, which allows me to be a head coach and get a pulse for the whole team. And, you know, so I'm just really, really excited for this off season and to be able to have a great summer with these guys and, you know, and build more than just the football piece, off the field relationships, having guys to my house, you know, doing some fun things with them and building a team. And that's how I think you do it.
Can an athletic program just kind of, you saw it last week at the camp. I mean, can that kind of momentum just go throughout the entire department?
Oh, yeah. I mean, with, you know, Huntington is, you know, our fans are unbelievable. They're going to support it. You know, we have to do our part to get them excited about it and get them out in the stands. And the way you do that, you got to win football games. And, you know, our kids do a great job in this community. They do a great job on campus supporting other sports. And that's what it's all about. I think that, you know, again, with only one portal window and you have kids here in the spring that you can roll over into the summer, into the fall, that helps everything. And our fan base will support us. Again, we have to do our part of it. And our part's winning games.
Mentioned the guys you didn't want to, you know, the veterans that didn't get to play, but Carlos did come in, you know, for 2 drives, led 2 touchdown drives. How important was it for you to, hey, we need to start this game off smooth with the offense?
Yeah. And, you know, so everybody understands how we did it. It was 1 offense versus 2 defense, 2 offense versus 1 defense, which the ones that played. And it was our plan the whole time to give Carlos 2 series. And, you know, he did what he was supposed to do. Obviously, he had a black jersey on for a reason. I was not going to let him get hit. He took enough hits a year ago. So, you know, we kept our quarterback safe. And I thought that, you know, we threw a couple picks there, 1 pick. But I thought that they did a really good job.
You knew what some of those pieces had coming back. But for a few of these guys, they're coming in, the TJ Lesters, Rente Hintons. It was the first time under the lights in front of fans. As a coach, do you like to see how they react in those scenarios as opposed to practice?
Yeah, no doubt. I love it when everybody's off the field. Yeah, you can't sit out there and spoon feed them the plays and tell them what to do every time, and to put some people in the stands. Yeah, you never know how somebody's going to react when that happens. And I thought we had some new guys that performed really well. TJ did a nice job today. Judah did a nice job. Again, Zay Bradshaw, obviously he's back, but you know, he's a bigger piece of the pie right now for us in our future and what we want to do. And I thought that he stepped up and did well. You know, so we had some guys make plays and we had some guys that miss plays. And now we have to get all that fixed and get rolling. And all our attention now goes, you know, to this team getting ready. I'm not worried about Penn State right now. I'm worried about Marshall. And we have to have a great summer, you know, great strength conditioning, 8-week period coming up here in the summertime and get them ready to roll in August.
You speak to the depth, the way this format of the game went on. I mean, that last drive almost ended up looking like a game-winning situation.
Yeah, and it worked out really well. The score there, if the offense didn't score, I was going to make them go for it, not kick a field goal to see, hey, game's on the line, and those guys made a play. Deuce made a play, and, you know, good throw by Coy. And then as we went down the field on offense, kind of 30, 40 seconds left, our clock operator, you know, he screwed us out of a few seconds there. But we got some plays off, and it was good to see you know, Khalil connect on that last play.
One more just to build on the quarterbacks. You've kind of talked about them throughout, but really every single one of them, it felt like really, really deep in that rim.
Yeah, you know, I don't know what everybody else has. I know that we have 3 guys who've started football games at this level or higher, and I feel really good about that. I don't know who else in the country has that much depth. So, you know, and these are all guys that fit our system, and they could do what we need them to do for us to win games. So very excited about those guys, and again, they have to keep getting better as well. And, you know, it's going to be, you know, we have 3 guys that we can put in at any point that I feel really good about.
Head coach Tony Gibson, his comments after the spring game on Saturday. Your text, 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Texter says, Paul, Del Rio looks like he added some muscle to himself, and his throws look sharp. I thought he looked good. Now, again, we're talking about the spring game. Obviously, these guys have seen each other for a while, and if you put him up against someone else today, what would they look like? This was, in a way, controlled just a bit, but I don't think that you can take away from what you saw from Carlos. I mean, he had 2 offensive drives. He was 4 or 5 through the air. He had 68 yards. He rushed 3 times for 13. And he looked good. I don't think you needed to see much from him. You put him in, he does what he needs to do, and then you get him out there and let some of the other guys go. I think mission accomplished there. I feel good. As quarterback 1, as the guy starting, I feel good about Carlos being the guy. If anyone else can beat him out, let's see what happens. But I felt much better about Carlos, and I did feel good about his progress. Let's hope that it continues as we get set. Again, Coach isn't worried about Penn State right now, and he does want to go 5-7. All good things to strive for. More coming up on this edition of Your Drive, ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
Mike Rowe here with another random fact. Those cracks on your walls aren't just cosmetic. They could mean your home is sinking. Whether it's drywall cracks, exterior cracks, or sticking doors or windows, do yourself a favor. Call Groundworks. I spent some time working with these guys, and they're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to stabilize your foundation. Baker's Waterproofing and Basement Authority of West Virginia are now Groundworks. Schedule a free inspection.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Stuck in a state of falling behind, struggling to keep up with kids, finances, insurance, and life? Well, let your State Farm agent help you simplify and get to a better state. With State Farm handling your auto, home, and life insurance, you'll have more time to handle everything else. More money, too. Adding State Farm policies can earn discounts that could add up to 40%. Help you get ahead. Call an agent today and get to a better state with State Farm. In Huntington, Jeff Smith, 304-781-1234. And in Wayne, Vicky Tabor, 304-272-5149.
Big refund, big project. Big savings at Menards. Turn your tax refund into your next big project. It's easy to create your dream kitchen with Clearview Cabinetry, offering a selection of finishes made with the finest materials. Clearview Cabinetry offers features like soft closed doors and drawers and cabinet accessories to match your unique style. Save big money on Clearview cabinets and check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for more great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
I've been burned before. I was just repeating the same patterns. It turns out I had a type.
Workplaces everywhere are looking for love. And by love, we mean the easy way to order food at work. Easy Cater.
I thought ordering from great restaurants at work had to be complicated, but then I met Easy Cater. So many options, so flexible, and when I ordered for 50 gluten-free vegans without going over budget, I knew I'd found the platform I wanted to do life and lunch with.
Fall in love with Easy Cater. Start an order at easycater.com.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Metro Community Federal Credit Union now brings you all the tech that big banks have, but still has that personal touch of a member-owned community credit union. Apple Pay? Got it. Digital wallet? Yep. Message pay by text? Online loan payments? Even chatting with a real person, not a bot. Open accounts, sign documents, and manage your money all online. It's the big bank tech you need from the local community-minded credit union you trust. Metro Community FCU. Visit metrocommunityfcu.com today.
My name is Meera Batra. I have been in this country 32 years, and this is how I live united. America has always been the land of promise, and in my community, many families have come for a better life. Coming from another culture myself, I know the desire to become part of a community, to feel at home, and to gain the tools for our children and families to succeed. So I advocate for these families with United Way. United Way empowers them to look beyond their histories and to see what opportunities are available. We help them get involved with their kids' schools, network within the community, and when we do, we unite them. We make the community stronger. What I do is something I wish someone had done for me, and I am so grateful I am able to. My name is Meera Batra. I help families see opportunities and succeed. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer. Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
How was your day? What did you do in school? I'm Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, and these two simple questions can encourage learning in your home. Showing interest and asking about the school day can help motivate your children and keep them excited about learning. So stay involved, stay curious, and ask specific questions. Student success involves the whole family.
A message from the West Virginia Education Association.
This is The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Miss an episode? Catch it anytime on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
We continue with your Monday edition of The Drive here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann, with our text line open at 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. Baseball action coming up tonight here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Is the Pittsburgh Pirates team for real? Well, against the Cubs, not yesterday. 7-6 victory for the Cubs. Pirates are home tonight, taking on Washington, going the air at 6:15. It's still early. I know. It's still early, but Pirates baseball all season long right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. It's not the fast start I was thinking. I mean, they're 9-6. I mean, okay. I mean, they're on top of the Central. They're 9-6, but we're talking about the Central here. That's the thing. It's not like anyone's running away with that just yet. So, what do you think? Do you think the Pirates get a shot at this? Honestly, do you think the Pirates get a shot at this? I mean, the Reds are right behind them at 9-7. The Cardinals are 8-7. The Brewers are 8-7, and the Cubs are 7-8. Cubs are catching back up. So the Reds are only half a game back. Everyone is under, at least everyone except Chicago is over 500. But again, it's very early in the season. We'll find out if the Pirates can rebound tonight, taking on Washington. Nationals are 7-8 right now, and they are fourth in the East. That's right here on ESPN 94.1 at AM 930. Comments from Saturday. We have got Xavier Turner-Bradshaw, who turned in a nice performance on Saturday in the spring game. 4 passes, 77 yards. Set up a lot of good things for the Thundering Herd, and he came in with a very positive attitude. And he started things off just talking about how fun it was to get out there and really get that experience.
Honestly, it was a whole lot of fun. It's been a whole lot of fun all spring. You know, personally, coming from transferring last year, I wasn't able to play in the spring game here last year. I was just, able to sit on the sidelines and watch. So playing in the spring game this year was a whole lot of fun. And especially with the offense that we have, Coach Rod's got, he's got a great amount of stuff set up for us. And, he wants to put the ball in playmakers' hands. And I'm so well that I was able to have the ball a lot of times today, and so glad I was able to make plays.
What's the vibe like year 1 to year 2?
Just a whole lot more confidence, whole lot more just, people believing, me believing in other people. And, it's just a whole lot of guys stepping up. Last year was a whole lot of young guys, stepping in bigger roles and even, being prepared to come for roles that they're going to get this year. And, it's just a whole lot. I like seeing the team play with a whole lot more confidence. A whole lot of guys is bonding with their brothers more. It's a whole lot of last year, it was maybe like a few guys that knew everybody on the team. But this year, Coach Gibson made sure, it was a key point that everybody learns everybody on the team. So that's stuff like that I like. I just like that everybody's bonded and everybody's connected this spring.
You bond with anyone in particular?
I bond with everybody, honestly. I come around, smile on my face every single day, every single time I walk past somebody before practice, after practice. I give them a fist bump, ask them they doing good, I'm doing good. I just like talking to the guys.
How special is this place for you, just, growing up or anything else, but now that you're here in Charlotte?
It's very special. I can't even put it into words, honestly. growing up here, of course with dad, I've always, been around. I've always knew the city, but I've never. It was a very little times that I had actually stepped in the Joan. Like I had been here, of course, to see his Hall of Fame introduction a few years ago, and then of course, like I said, I was here last year for the spring game. But other than that, or sorry, excuse me, my Virginia Tech year where I played here. Other than that, though, other than those 3 times, it's come maybe my first couple of times, being in the Joan other than last year, and I love it. I love the atmosphere, I love the fans, and I love everything about the Joan. I love it here.
How proud is he to have his son carry that torch?
Amazing. Today actually after the first possession where I came off the field, I was sitting on the bench catching a breather, and he walked over to me. I didn't even know he got here yet. So he walked over to me and just coached me up a little bit, told me stay in the game, keep my head right, and he's more than proud. He loves seeing, of course, his son play here. Son play the same place that he did, and he just he loves it. He loves the community, loves the community that the community loves me, and everything about it.
Is there any pressure? I mean, I don't think there is, but is there any pressure, knowing that, okay, he did what he did, and now you're carrying that over?
I mean, I wouldn't say as much pressure, mainly just because we don't really play the same position. It's kind of like growing up. Of course I played everything, receiver, running back, anything. But once I kind of got to high school and kind of got to develop into my receiver position, it was kind of just like us being in two different positions. It was kind of just like he's giving me some game on certain points and stuff like that. But the pressure of just like being in the backfield, being in the same position as him, I never really got that pressure. But I've always loved the fact that somebody that, of course, my dad, but somebody that's also been at the next level and even seen receivers, DBs, every position around the league, is able to coach me up.
Obviously, everybody wants to win, but winning here be a little bit more special.
It would, not only for me, not only for the fans, but for 75, for what restarting, what they built back up, and that's also one of Coach Gibson's main things. One thing that he wants to do, he loves winning, and that's one thing I told him after we ended up last year. I was like, I didn't like how last year ended, and of course, all my life, I've somewhat got used to winning, so it's like and it's the same thing with him. So it's like we don't like losing, and we wanted to flip this thing around, turn it to a winning mentality.
How vocal have you been? You have a little bit more history, you have a little bit of understanding, so. Are you stepping up? Are you being a little bit more vocal with some of the newer guys, kind of just getting them in the right place?
Yeah, of course. Even if it's making sure they got things like the plays right, or things like formation, stuff like that, or whether if it's just simply walking in and sitting down with my teammate and asking them how he's doing today. I love to just sit here, and I love to talk to all the guys, and I love to I love being around the team, so, and that's one thing that I was harping on that hurt me, the past year coming from the transfer portal, that like those last few months, like the spring and all that, like I didn't get to be around the team, so that really hit me. So it's just like being here now a full year and playing in the spring game, and now it's about to be, the first full year since I've been here. It's just a full circle moment. I love it.
You kind of followed it up, with the history of this place, how much of that have you kind of passed on to the younger guys?
Mm-hmm. A lot, honestly. In our slot room, one thing Coach Brewer harped on last year, he gave everybody somebody from the 75 team that was close to their hometown, and he wanted us to go, and he wanted us to look deeper into that person. And when he had gave me who was it that he gave me? Dennis Blevins. He gave me Dennis Blevins, and he was from Bluefield, and some of his relatives that are still with us today. I know them, and they're related to one of my best friends that passed away a few years ago. So it's really a full circle moment being here at Marshall, and I love it, and it's just a whole lot more confidence this year, and I can't wait.
Getting back to the field for a second, when you see space in front of you, it's like it hits another. Like you cut the swing pass out of the backfield, and we were talking about up the press box. Like, what's that feeling like on the field when you see there's a lane there?
I mean, honestly, I just with my speed, I don't like to let things come to me, and I try to go attack it, and I also know that if I'm catching the ball and I see space and I go attack that space, it's harder for somebody to try to close it if I'm attacking it full speed, and it's also like growing up, I've always been known to, like, when I get to the outside, hit my speed and be more of a problem, so it's just like a whole lot of guys want to keep me from the outside, but it's like you got to showcase that speed in different places, and that's another thing that I'm harping on, working on my game.
Firsthand last year, Lacey was able to exploit some of that.
Yes.
Inside outside what
Yes.
And it seemed like you really started to grow later in the season. How much did that momentum from late season carry into this year for you?
A whole lot, honestly. Like, and harping back to how we ended last season, that was a whole big whole big motivation to me coming in, a whole lot of my drive coming into this year, honestly. Like, stepping off the field last year, even of, you know, coming off of starting in fall camp, then the season, and then football being done for a few months, you know, it didn't seem so real. It didn't seem real to me. And of course us finishing football in November, like, honestly, all my life, like, high school state championships and stuff like that, like, I was done in December, you know. So that's another thing I told coach, like, we both hated finishing football in November. So it's just like that mentality and that, you know, that, I wouldn't say anger, but that just readiness, so ready to get back on the field, you know, hit me in December, and I've been ready since then. And I'm just so glad that that this team had a good spring, honestly.
Seems like he's going to be fun to cover all season long. That is Xavier Turner Bradshaw. That's the show. Thanks for bearing with me in the continued throat problems. We'll talk to you tomorrow after several lozengers.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.